Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So for this Wednesday's album review, I'm talking about the sophomore release from Vertebra, Atlantis, and this is their album A Dialogue with the Eeriest Sublime. This came out on the 20th of October via Tanger Records, and the album is 7 tracks and 45 minutes in length. Before I get into the review, a quick shout out to Hammerheart Metal Reviews, because his Albums of the Month video prompted me to actually go and check this one out. I think I'd seen it come up in my Google feed, but I never actually went to listen to the album. But after his video, I decided, yep, I definitely like the sound of this one. I'm going to go listen to this. So another thing I want to say before I get on to the music of the album itself is this stunning album cover art as well, which was done by, I think, an artist whose name is Babar Magal. Apologies for any mispronunciation. But I love the use of the colour blue in the image, the way it kind of all blends together. The figure standing before that spectacular landscape, and just the feeling that gives you as a listener. I mean, it's one of those album covers that also fits extremely well with the music. It's all well and good just having good album cover art, but when it's a great match for the music, it just adds to the experience to me, and that's exactly what this album cover art does. Now, onto the music of this album, which is very difficult to adequately describe with one subgenre. I mean, it covers multiple subgenres. It's one of those albums that you couldn't really adequately describe with any one single genre label. If I had to, it's something like progressive, atmospheric, black and death metal. But it even brings in the odd symphonic element here and there. You know, it's one of these where, you know, the genre nerds, you know, will probably come up with their own descriptions. So if that's not good enough for you, I'm sorry. But what I will say is that this is an album that needs to be listened to front to back. It is offering a lot of different elements, all packed in. There's a lot packed into this. So to unpack the album, you do need to give it I've had to give it at least a few listens to start to really fully appreciate what it is. Now, saying that, it does have moments that will stand out to you on your early listens. There are some great Opeth-like riffs that are absolutely fantastic and remind me of that sort of 90s death metal style. There's some really gnarly, grisly riffs, but they do offer up a little bit of a groove as well with a few of the riffs that are on display. And, you know, overall, you're going to get that mixture of that with the atmospheric stuff, some great build-ups and good payoffs as well. I think I'm going to talk about a few of those when I dig into the tracks a little bit more later on. But yeah, lots to really enjoy here. And I have enjoyed this as a sort of, you know, front to back listen. Anyway, speaking of the tracks, I think it's about time I moved on to those. So the opening track is Into Cerulean Bloods I Bathe, which is sort of kind of has this dissonant sort of death metal style to it, throwing a lot into it, as I say. It starts off quite slow and eerie, actually, if I remember rightly, and then it kind of goes into all of the kind of cool death metal parts of the track. And yeah, it's a great opening track to the album. Frost Plays Gloaming Respite, another track I'm going to talk about. It's the second track on the album, which introduces you to, I think, one of those kind of Opeth-style death metal riffs that I thoroughly enjoyed. I also enjoyed the carefully placed kind of keyboard moments, I think, or it sounded like there were a few keyboard notes that gave the track a bit of ambience as it kind of reached its climax, where it came towards the end of the song. Another song I wanted to talk about was Cupio Dissolvi, which has a bit more of a staggered proggy style to it, I think, and it kind of has an interesting structure. May not be an easy one to get first time round, but I've enjoyed this track more and more and more with multiple listens. Penultimate track is another great one, Desperately Ablaze from the Lowest Layer, which has more of a dirty groove on offer with another one of those kind of gnarly 90s style death metal riffs. I love the symphonic metal, or symphonic elements rather, that come into the track right towards its closure as well. Now, another song I've been talking recently about some really superb album closers in some of my recent album reviews. This is an album with another superb album closer, without question. I mean, it is a bit different from any of the other tracks on the album. Now, I've been saying, you know, that the album does have a lot of variation on it, and it's never kind of to one thing. But this track is definitely noticeably kind of apart from the rest of the album, I would still say, because it's just kind of much cleaner. It feels a bit more kind of fully embedded in a sort of atmospheric style as well, and a little bit slower. But for all of that, it is also absolutely stunning when it comes to its kind of last minute and a half. And if you want a good climax to an album or a good album closer, you've got one right here. I mean, my God, what a way to finish an album. So yeah, I mean, I have only mostly praise for this one. I feel that an 8 out of 10 probably isn't enough. It isn't a high enough score for this, for me anyway. I think it's an 8.5 perhaps at the least. I'm going to say an 8.5 for now, because I do feel that it's been an album that I need yet still a little more time with to make a final judgment. So let's go with an 8.5 out of 10 for now. But wow, this is a lot packed into this, but you'll be rewarded for listening to this album. So do go check it out. Otherwise, from me, if you enjoyed this review, if you're new to the channel, do support the channel, drop a sub and all that stuff, drop a like. Otherwise, from me, take care everybody, until the next video, bye for now.